Hi everyone, well, we're back here again. And I did forget to mention in the last video that I mentioned that I was going to be doing readings again for the month of April and May, but I forgot to tell everybody where to go. Well, that's not true. I tell a lot of people where to go, lots of times. They don't always listen to me. Anyways, twinflames.ca is our website if you're interested in booking a reading in that special. Okay, now the video that I wanted to do today is the evolution of you. The awakening heart, the gift that never stops giving. And this particular video is kind of a, shall we say, a gratitude video for myself, and I just want to kind of roll through a lot of the things that have happened in regards to the Heart Center Awakening. But before I do that, I want to mention to everyone that every day on the planet, in cities, towns, countries, continents, amongst every race, amongst every culture, from every belief system you could possibly imagine, literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people begin a Heart Center Awakening. And at this particular point in time, in regards to the evolutionary process, the common denominators have changed. As in the past, they used to be basically a Kundalini awakening, and then perhaps a Heart Center activation a few months or a few years later, and then it may have involved a connection with another person. The evolutionary process has now moved to the point, excuse me, where what happens is now, at this particular point, in most cases, when the gift that keeps on giving starts, the most common denominator or symptom is a connection with another person that's very intense, a complete activation of the Heart Center chakra in usually both people, and intense rising of Kundalini symptoms. That's in general terms. That doesn't exactly happen to everyone, but in general terms, that's how it goes. So I'd like to discuss that gift, that very unique gift that has been given to all of us. And the greatest gift of all that's been given to us with that gift is it didn't come with a manual, and it didn't come with instructions are enclosed, all right? Assembly is required. What has happened is there's no instructions, no manual, no guidebook. You're on your own. You get this great, big, beautiful gift in the center of your chest to explore on your own. And some would say, Mel, I have had the most horrendous time in the connection with someone else, the activation of Kundalini, and the awakening of my heart center, that I cannot say that I feel today like it's a gift. And I would agree with you. But in retrospect, as I look back upon it, and I see what happens, and I see this happen every day now with people, let's go through it here for the moment. In years gone by, people spent months and years in ashrams, or having to go and see some guru, or go through all kinds of rituals and whatevers to activate their Kundalini. And it was only for the select few. And what happened is this has now evolved so that the situation can be had by everybody and everyone, no matter what their station, what their position in life, be it at the top of the echelon or somewhere in the middle or somewhere just the average citizen like you and me in that particular perspective, and it can all come together. Now, the gift has happened. You've made the connection with someone. The heart center is activated. Your Kundalini has gone completely apeshit. What's going on? What is the first major thing that's going to happen? If you haven't met the person yet, and it's activated, and the heart center is activated, and your Kundalini is activated, what you can expect is this. You're going to go through a period where the gift is going to give to you a completely new, modified, and changed personality. You're going to find your lifestyle is going to change. Your belief systems is going to change. What you thought was isn't. What you believed in is not. Where you thought you were going, you're not. Where you thought you were, you're not. Who you believed you think you were isn't happening either. You're going through a complete makeover of your personality. In some cases, the gift arranges that this is unpleasant, because I'll tell you something about the gift. The gift has learned that we're a very opinionated, a very stubborn, a very bullheaded species. At this particular point in time, we believe that we are Homo superior. We do. We have, at this particular point in time, evolved our technology to such a point, and we have populated the planet to such a point that if we don't find new resources to feed the population, to house the population, or the technology to be able to do that as the population continues to grow, we will have to explore the universe, which is exactly what's going to happen. We were never intended to remain here indefinitely, so we're going to move on, so to speak. The gift allows us the changing of our personality. That in turn will allow the belief systems in the present way we were going in regards to our planet to change and evolve also. But most people don't see that, because what they see is in general terms themselves. So what is the first thing that happens also in regards to the changes in personality, the belief system, your life as a whole? What is the next thing that takes place? This magnificent gift in the center of your chest, which emanates and radiates what I call source creative energy. Some people like to call this love or unconditional love. That's your belief system. It's not, however, mine. The source energy that radiates from this device, this gift in the center of your chest, also while your personality is changing, does something else. It is radiating, emanating. It is creating within you at periods of time, periodically, states of bliss, orgasmic delight, complete feeling of euphoria periodically. What is that doing? What it's doing is veritably changing the cell structure, the molecular structure, and the DNA in your body so that you can evolve and grow and become more of what you are doing. All unbeknown to you. This is the gift that's been bestowed upon you. Are you not feeling grateful? I'm humbled by this magnificent process that is going on with all of us. It is totally amazing. Really, it truly is. Once you begin this particular process, you're going through the changes of personality. Your body begins to change differently. You don't eat the foods you used to eat. You don't associate with the people you used to associate. You have changed a great deal. People question who you are. Those who have not experienced the gift yet question your sanity. And in many cases, your sanity that you may be experiencing can get you locked up in a round room, padded, of course, and they pump you full of pharmaceutical shit just to keep you happy, so that they're happy that you are functioning to their particular perspective of how you should. They'll get it sooner or later. So as the gift moves along, somewhere along the line, because we have within us, through a pattern of thousands of years, a concept, an idea, a perspective of relationships that we have incorporated into our belief systems and have had them come up again and again and again in this perspective. What is arranged then by the gift is to experience the ultimate relationship, the ultimate connection. And this ultimate connection comes up amongst two people, or in some cases one person by themselves, depending. Two people who have equal amounts of opportunity to balance and change each other out because they have complementary aspects. Everybody sees this as being positive all of the time. But if you have someone who's a bit of an asshole, you need someone who's not an asshole to balance them out. If you have someone who's a bit of a control freak, you need someone who's a bit of a free spirit to balance them out. And the gift has this really nifty ability to take two people out of the 7 billion people on this planet and match them up perfectly. Can you dig it? Perfectly at a certain point in time in their life. And it may not they even like the look of each other, or they think they're compatible with each other. And as soon as they get going, what happens is they lifted into this euphoric state to give them an indication of what's possible to come down the road individually and possibly as a couple, not necessarily with the two of them, but an indication, because all the time that the gift is giving, we keep making assumptions. And those assumptions are based on old programming, and most of the programming is not worth squat. It just doesn't fit with what the gift is doing. And remember, the gift is in here in the middle of your chest, so it's you. All right? It's some kind of part of you that's been nebulous, that's never been there before, but it's been there as a potential, and suddenly it wakes up, and you find yourself in conflict with the gift because you think you have to be in control. And even when the gift is manifesting, you curse the gift, you deny the gift, you hate the gift. All right? But the gift is always there. The gift is always giving. It's where you don't see it, I don't see it. Because we see the results of what the gift is doing as crisis, chaos, pain, difficulty, hurt. But you know what I've learned about people in the world right now? What I've learned? That the biggest majority of us will not make a change in our life unless we're standing in a corner and someone is hitting us on the head with a stick and yelling very loudly in our ear, will we make a change? We will not. Until it gets shitty, difficult, and sticky. As a species, we don't learn things easily, especially when it comes to the spiritual community. The spiritual community has become very much like a religion or a church. They have set criteria, set deacons and popes and popesses in the spiritual community who profess and preach a doctrine of information based on a limited amount of awakening of consciousness or the beginnings of the gift, and they lock in to a created belief system which becomes dogma and tradition. But the gift goes on. The gift begins to arrange, as it were, as people begin to express the disintegration of what is called the other dimensions and realities. The other dimensions and realities are beyond the five senses, but our five senses have been attuned to a certain limitation at a particular point in time, and now it's becoming, shall we say, more finely tuned by the gift to begin to reflect and to move up into higher vibration. And this is what's happening. So what must take place? If you will recall, I said at a certain phase, the gift emanates the energy and frequencies through the body. What is happening? We live in a society in this day and age where the chemicals, additives, preservatives and toxins in our environment to maintain our particular and established material existence are now becoming the chemicals and toxins that are poisoning our system, manifesting as one of the most rampant of diseases called cancer on this planet in reality. Unhappy, unfulfilled, and polluted minds living in unhappy and polluted bodies, the end result is obvious. In order to change that and bring back the body physical, the body mental, the body emotional, and the body etheric into a harmonic state, the gift infuse that body and bodies with light energy to change the chemical structure to begin to offload. So what happens, the body goes through at some point in the gift's progression, a elimination of toxins from the body. This will be a progression over a period of years. As the personality changes, as the person becomes more empathic, more intuitive, more psychic, more attached and to the other dimensions and letting go of the lower, the body physical adapts and changes with it at this particular point. So the gift continues on. Are you feeling gratitude yet? Are you feeling happy that you have been bestowed with this wonderful device in the middle of your chest that is changing your life, that is creating all of the wonderful things in the process that's happening in your life? Are you grateful? Are you grateful that the gift has brought you a person that has put you through misery, anguish, and pain, making you crazy, literally? Are you grateful? Because you should be. Because without the gift arranging that, you would have probably stayed the same you were until you leave the physical body and come back again and do it again until you get it right. So the gift makes it possible. The gift literally makes it possible for everyone who is open to it and open to the gift, that they don't ever have to come back here again in physical reality and express it in a very compressed school with a great degree of difficulty at this particular point. That is why so many entities and beings from so many different dimensions and realities are here. They're here because in this vibration, the gift functions in a lower dimensional vibrational reality, in highly toxic and highly polluted environment. Now, when I talk about polluted environment, I'm not talking necessarily about the earth at the moment. The polluted environment is the mental condition of the species that lives on this planet called us. Our mental environment is totally toxic and polluted, but that's now changing due to the gift. So what has happened is many of aspects of the gift will tell you this. The gift has, in its infusion of energy, if many of you have noticed that Kundalini energy moving through your body, a lot of you have taken the time to find out what Kundalini energy is. A great many of you are having Kundalini experiences on a daily basis. Inevitably, you've probably noticed that the point of reference of Kundalini is the beginning is at the tailbone. The end is in the head. So why is that happening? Because in the head, there is two very unused brain hemispheres that are now being activated. And the activation of that requires that the Kundalini energy reaches the head so that the actual process of thinking can be enhanced. So as the brain functions from the gift's guidance and the energetic input of the Kundalini energy, activates the brain hemisphere and creates a new neural network that cross over from either side, the potential for a unified field being radiating around the head and also emanating from the energy field of the individual in question, the person can actually do something that they never thought that they would be able to do. Think. What we think used to be called thinking was not thinking. The way we used to think was simply reacting to emotional stimulant and programming that was devised by certain individuals trying to control. That process is now coming to an end to the gift. Are you feeling more gratitude now? Because you damn well should be. I am humbled. I'm in awe of the sheer process of the awakening heart, the gift that never stops giving on a daily basis, even though at times we see it differently than what it is. The gift never stops giving. And as we begin to evolve and grow even more, what happens? We get to participate with the gift. Yes, because our mental faculty has become more stable. Our emotional body is not powerless to, for example, the dictates of another. One of the beauties of the twin flame connection, as it's popularly called in the spiritual communities these days, is people are learning very quickly, how powerful that connection can be and how powerless it can make one feel and react. That is a very positive learning curve. For some, it will take a long time. For some, it will take a short time. For some, it may not happen at all. The gift never stops giving. And at this particular point in time, what is now happening is some who have evolved to a certain point have learned that the gift is also now, because some have become mature enough spiritually and have gone through a spiritual puberty and actually have become an adult. In the past, what we have was children running around in adult-looking bodies. The gift has arranged it so that these children in adult bodies are now growing up, achieving spiritual maturity, gaining awareness, self-awareness, and then gaining realization, then gaining creative abilities that they are fully capable of using at this particular point in time. So the gift is arranging that, first of all, to use creative abilities, one must have a body that is physically capable of handling highly expressive and creative energies manifesting through the gift. The gift is like a flower. It begins to grow and evolve. It gets bigger, it expands, it grows. It must have a vehicle that it can express through that will not explode or burn up all of its sensitive nervous system or wiring system as it goes along. The gift keeps giving. Are you grateful? And what happens is some are beginning to discover that they now can influence or radiate their presence to others around them. They are beginning to understand that the laws of attraction now work for them and through them based on their spiritual maturity and wisdom. They can now attract what they actually need, not what their emotional body dictates they think they want. They have become an adult. The gift that keeps giving. Soon, it will be discovered by many on the planet that the concern for self will no longer be a priority. There are many in the spiritual community at this particular point in time who have received the gift, who are being of service to others. But there are far greater many in the spiritual community, example in the twin flame group, who are more concerned with being with the other one or being with the one, and that's all they're interested in. That will change also as they grow up and drop out of the pamper phase. When they achieve that spiritual maturity, it won't be as important to be with the one as it will be to be a participant in the change and the evolution of the whole of humanity and the planet around them. When they reach this stage, what happens is, if they desire a one, or they desire a person, or they feel it's to their need to have this happen, as a collaboration of being of service to others, this will manifest in its correct fashion. This is where we are going as a species. As the creative gift, the awakening heart, the gift that never stops giving, some of us will soon discover that the application of what is called climate change on the planet is not necessarily caused by the pollution from chemicals and additives. There are now 7 billion plus of us on this planet. And in before, we used to have toxic bodies and toxic minds. And our thinking patterns were, shall we say, primitive and not advanced very far. But now there are some of us who are starting to think and feel and believe that with the gift in the center of our chest, our environment can be changed and modified through the power of creative energies. This then is coming from the gift. Are you grateful? Think about it. Gratitude for what you have received is a signal that you yourself have become humble to the gift in the middle of your chest. When you fully realized what has been bestowed upon you, the greatest gift of that gift is not receiving instructions or a manual with it. Because if you did, you would follow instructions. That's what most of us have been doing for thousands of years, following instructions, reading other people's laws and rules as to how we should behave. The gift will show us how to behave. The gift will lead us into appropriate behavior that is open and respectable to all. The gift that keeps giving. Think about it, people. And then the next time you meditate, go to the center of your chest and thank your lucky stars that you've been blessed with a heart center awakening. Thank you.